North Queensland remains in the grip of a deadly record-breaking flood emergency. 3 emergency warnings to evacuate remain in place as rain continues to fall and homes are at risk.
Residents are being warned to avoid drinking contaminated water. There are widespread power and internet outages, and a bridge on the Bruce Highway has collapsed, cutting off a crucial supply route to isolated communities. Well, our reporter Joe O'Brien joins us now from Townsville. Joe, good to have you up there. Can you just tell us what's happened overnight?
James, g'day. So the good news over the past 24 hours is that the rain has really eased off in the context of what's been happening over the last week or so. So in Townsville, it's only been 50 or so millimetres since 9 o'clock yesterday. And up and down the coast, it's a similar story. There are only a couple of spots that have got up over 100 mil. Unfortunately, Ingham is one of those spots. Paluma again, where there have been the massive falls. And once again, right up around Babinda, which had a bit of flooding early on, it's got around 100 millimetres again. But there were long breaks from the rain here in Townsville yesterday, and it was just good to see everyone kind of emerging from their homes after getting a bit of cabin fever over several days. We're on the Appleton Weir in Townsville here, and this is the Ross River behind me. And so the Ross River is they're expecting it's going to be at major level through this morning. And it is roaring right now. Those suburbs that are of concern, where the low-lying suburbs, are downstream from here. We just visited on the fringe of one of those so-called black zones where thousands of people have been evacuated. And the good news is that the water has not, we were at Railway Estate, the water has not gone through that suburb. So that's good news for people in all the evacuation centres at the moment who are anxiously waiting their time through this. But the dam upstream from here, they've used this opportunity to release some of the water. The dam is actually falling right now. It's gone from 175% capacity down to 168, and that's the first time we've seen that through this. And so that explains this huge volume of water roaring through here at the moment.
Yeah, you can really hear it roaring there in the background, Joe. So what's the attention turning to now?
Well, there is still flooding happening. And as I mentioned, Ingham and Cardwell, that area is probably the worst affected by this. The Herbert River runs through Ingham. It's the flood gauge is on it. There are multiple spots, and they're kind of rising and falling, or they're steady at the moment. So it looks like the Herbert has reached its general peak for now, but there's ongoing concern about the level of water there in Ingham, but hopefully that will continue to start generally falling. And so attention is now turning to how our authorities are going to support people getting through this now, getting food to people, because the Bruce Highway has been cut with that bridge down between Townsville and Ingham. The Bruce Highway is such an important route for North Queensland, getting all the food and fuel up there. And so the Army is actually getting involved now. It'd be interesting to see if they'll be involved in getting a temporary bridge, maybe, built over that spot where that Bruce Highway bridge collapsed. And there's so many little isolated communities. A lot of them are independent and have their own generators, but they're crying out for fuel. So the challenge is for authorities now how to get food and fuel, importantly fuel for generators, through to those isolated communities that are cut off.